How's it going, YouTube? This is a little off of my normal type of unboxing review. Just recently, probably a month or so ago, I started getting into making things out of brass. Started off buying some brass knuckles and carving them, and that was what I wanted to do was, carve lanyard beads, carve brass knuckles, things like that. Kind of do commission work. I used to tattoo, but I transitioned into another job, and so that would kind of satisfy the artistic itch. But, very quickly I found out that buying brass knuckles from other people gets pretty expensive. You know what I'm saying? And the markup isn't worth the time that you put into the actual art on it. So I started researching and had some guys help me out, point me in the right direction on things to buy to actually make my own brass knuckles. And this is a rabbit hole of things. But I, started buying bar stock and making my own brass knuckles, 4 fingers, 2 fingers, single finger stuff. And it's super fun, working in metal. And I say that lightly because it's very, it's like entry-level metal work compared to guys that are like blacksmiths that forge metal and things like that. But when you get down the rabbit hole of it, there's a lot of things that you can do with brass. You require a bandsaw, you require a drill press, you require, I use a router, specific router bits from metal, vise grinders, all these types of things. And depending on what you want to do with the brass, you require an anvil for, hand stamping, texturing. You probably could get by with other things, but I view an anvil as an investment. And a good anvil will last lifetimes. And so that being said, I started, doing research on anvils, and it's a lot. It's a big thing. You wouldn't, if you haven't done research into anvils, it's not just a hunk of metal that you bang on with a hammer. I'll tell you that. It's there is a lot to it. And initially, I just threw some money at it real quick and bought me a little eBay Vivor 100-pound anvil. And that thing, I think I got it on a Cyber Monday deal or something, and I ended up paying like 120 bucks for it. And it came to the house, and it was in rough shape. And so I watched some videos on people, kind of dressing up those cheap eBay and Amazon anvils. And I bought some, stripper and acetone and went to work on that thing. I stripped all the paint off of it, took a sander to it and got a lot of that old cast iron on it, off of it. The foot was cracked when it came to me. The box looked better than this one when it came, but it still was rough handled. And so I bought it. I built a little stump for it and put it on a stand, and it looked good. I mean, it looked decent, but you hit that thing with the hammer or stamp through it, and it dings the face of the anvil immediately. And I knew that it wasn't gonna last, and I would want something better. And I should have never bought it. I live by the mantra, buy once, cry once. Buy something good, and you'll end up saving money in the long run. It costs more initially, but you don't have to continue rebuying things until you end up paying 2 or 3 times what you would have if you just would have bought something quality to start with. So I emailed them and told them, like, hey, this thing came to me broken, the foot was broken, sent them pictures. They tried to hustle me at first, but ended up giving me a pretty, like $50 discount. So I ended up paying maybe $70 for the anvil. I mounted it to this stump, cleaned it up, and bolted it down. I put some money into the stump and the steel for bolting it to the stump and the stand and things like that. But I ended up, I put it on Marketplace and I sold that thing for $300 in a day, which is pretty much what I had in it, you know, by the time I bought all the wood and everything to build the stump and the stand. But they sell quick, and I immediately did research on, you know, more research on anvils. And I've listened to guys say that used ain't new. I think there's a guy on YouTube that owns a forge, I forget, Purgatory, I think. He says that a lot, and that it resonated because the process for making anvils now is so much more improved than what they had 200 years ago making anvils. But you have anvils floating around now, 100, 150, 200 years old that are still in use, still being used. And so if anvils that had, you know, far less capability back then in the manufacture of them, whether they're cast or forged, and they're still around being used, imagine how long the anvils made today will last. It's tremendous. And so I view an anvil as an heirloom item. They're passed down generationally. A good anvil will last lifetimes. And so I was looking around, and in my price point, I wanted to be like under $1,000 for a new anvil, and I wanted it to be over 100 pounds. Something that if I did eventually want to grow into more metalworking, knife making, even, actually forging metal, I wouldn't have to replace the anvil later. I can just continue to use this anvil. It would be the staple of the garage. And I had settled on a JHM certifier. That's the one that I ended up really liking the most. But I know this video is going long, but I feel this stuff will probably help someone, if you're getting into anvils. And so I decided that was what I was going to get, and I ordered one, and they emailed me immediately and said that I don't know why that was showing as available on the website. We don't have it. And I couldn't find one anywhere. No one had it in stock. No JHM certifiers. And my second choice was an NC Tool Cavalry. It's a 112-pound anvil. And, I've watched a lot of reviews on it. And the only negative that I can hear people say is that the horn of the anvil is not it's not hardened to the same level that the face of the anvil is. And to be honest, that it was not a big concern to me. And so it didn't prevent me from buying the anvil. So I did. So I went to Whaleshod website, seeing that they had it. I called them to verify that they had it before I placed the order. And I ended up placing the order with a young lady over the phone. And the anvil ended up being about $850. And they do a $10 flat shipping rate. But if it's an oversized item, they do an additional $35. And I asked them if they did military discounts. They said that they can't do military discounts on this anvil. But they did waive the $35 oversized shipping fee, which I was grateful for. And so within a couple of days, I have the anvil to my door. I'm in Central Texas, and they're located in Texas, so they're close by. But it came to me, and it's already marred up. Of course, it's an anvil. You're going to beat on it. I'm not extremely picky. But you can see that this thing is already, the box is broken. It's got some scratches and stuff on the top here. but nothing that seemed to be, hurt the anvil so far. But you're going to look at it as I look at it. So let's see what we got. I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty excited about it. Once I started doing research in them, the world of anvils is pretty big. And there's Fisher Norris, which my last name is Norris. I'm kind of, I want to get me an old Fisher Norris one day just to kind of have, and the old hay buttons and, all those really, the anvil names that, truly created, truly improved blacksmithing and metalworking back in those days. And I think, to pay homage to those is pretty great. And, I'll always, now that I've done the research on it and I have educated myself, I'll always be on the lookout for an anvil, at estate sales and things like that. If I come across one in a barn, I'll definitely be in the market for it. My wife won't like it because we don't have a lot of room, but I'll deal with that afterwards. So in the box, inside of the box, it appeared that they had this on the horn of the anvil. It wasn't attached when it got here, and it comes with this little NC Tools pamphlet. It seems to be marketing, forges and anvils and things of that nature, all the products that they sell in here. And so let's get this thing out of the box. Well, I can tell you she is pretty. So on this side, it says Donald Jones, 112 pounds. He's got a USA mark down here at the bottom. This side says Cavalry NC Tool Company. And I can tell you that there is some, scratches and stuff on the paint and things like that from not being boxed so well. But that doesn't matter to me at all. There does seem to be some imperfections in the face of it, but I think that may be paint. We'll see. You can see some of that in there. But I'm sure that'll come right off and be pretty even. And so if you know nothing about anvils, this is the horn, this is the table, this is the hardy hole here. And this is the pritchel hole, or this is the pritchel hole, and this is the turning hole, I think they call it. Not so sure about that. This is the heel. These are turning cams. And these are the feet of the anvil. And of course, I am by no means an expert. I've been researching these things for a couple weeks, trying to soak up information. But I did email NC Tool Company and ask them, because if you just go to their website or go to people that sell these anvils, they're not very forthcoming with what this anvil is made out of. Most anvils, you go to their site and they'll tell you exactly what it is. And if you watch a lot of videos, a lot of people, they talk bad about iron anvils, and they steer you towards steel, which I agree with that for the most part. But that JHM anvil that I wanted it's made out of ductile iron, and it goes through a pretty significant hardening process, and has a lot of great reviews from the people that use them. So I had settled on that one, but wasn't able to get it. Now, when I emailed NC Tool, they responded and said these things are made out of ductile steel, the same things that drive shafts and stuff are made out of. And so, I mean, that's great. And the only thing that I've heard negative about these anvils is that the horn is hardened, or not hardened to the same level that the face of the anvil is. But I tell you what, I'm very happy with the way it looks. It looks amazing. Of course, this thing will probably be pretty for a long time, because I won't do a whole lot of, beating it up. I won't be bending any metal or anything on it for quite some time. I'll be using the face of it to, hammer texture brass and hand stamp brass and things like that. And I'll probably use it occasionally, and just making random stuff around the garage. But I made a stump for the other anvil, and I was pretty happy with it. It was similar to the stump that I've made for that arbor press. But I've got my brother, he cut down a piece of oak, and he is going to make me a pretty good sized stump for this, with a set of tripods. Weld together tripod. I don't have a welder, so I can't do it myself. And so this thing will have something great to sit on here shortly. But yeah, I hope this video helped someone. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. I can make a few more videos about different aspects of the anvil, but this thing's ran long already. And I don't feel like I've covered a lot of very pertinent information. But if you stuck around this long, I hope that I've helped someone in the market for buying an anvil. Y'all have a good one.